What's going on, guys? It's Chris from Team Setback. So in this video, we are going to be talking about cards that should come off the next Banlist update, which we're hoping is sometime in April. So the first card being Chaos Emperor Dragon. I think we all are well aware that it got an errata that doesn't make it as good as it once was. And on top of that, there's no real reason to run this card, especially after the errata. It's not terrible, but it's nowhere near as good as it was. And you can put this card back at 3, and I highly doubt it'd see any play. I mean, at this point, you can argue that BLS is better, and that card is rarely ran at anything more than 1 anyway. So bring it back to 3. I highly doubt you'll see anybody abuse this card. There's just really not a point to keep it on the ban list after the errata. I think the OCG also has it unbanned over there, and nothing's happening with it. It's not even a side deck card, which I don't see how it would even fit in a side deck, but you get the idea, right? No one's running this card. Next up is going to be Stratis. Shear should also come off the ban list at least to 1. It's not going to make Necros any more competitive than it already is. It just makes it so they can actually play the game a lot easier. The deck really lacks any sort of relevance in this meta, and I highly doubt giving it a single Shear or even multiple Shear. I think the OCG has Shear at 2, and it's doing nothing over there except a top at a locals every once in a while. You hit Brio, you hit Unicorn, so you hit both its consistency and its ability to recycle its ritual monsters back to hand. Shear is just an unnecessary hit, so go ahead and just bring that card back. I really don't see an issue with that. Next up, my girl Construct. There's no reason this card should be banned to begin with. It was never going to really be relevant even with a single copy of it. Even during the format where this card was at 3, it was maybe the 4th or 3rd best deck of the format. And nowadays, everything's so powerful that Construct can't really out most things anyway. Even like in the past, you could out most boards with just Construct. Nowadays, you have Masterpiece, which is unaffected by everything, is 3250, and can't be destroyed by battle once per turn. I've heard people say that, well, you can run it like ABCs, so you can send a piece to the graveyard, but the main point of Shaddolls was to get graveyard effects. If you run an ABC, yeah, it can help you get a missing piece to grave, but even in that situation, you'd probably want to run a better card than Shaddol Fusion to get your piece to grave, like maybe 3 Terraforming instead of 3 Shaddol Fusion, I guess. And on top of that, you'd have to take out key cards to run a small Shaddol engine. Really, it's just not worth it running in ABCs. The only deck I can see this card being worth running in is Blue Eyes. And even then, again, I don't really see how this card makes the deck any better than it currently is. I just want Construct back, I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't see any issues with it, just bring it back, please. Please, I'm begging you. The OCG got it, why can't we get it? Also, in the OCG, in case you guys didn't know this, Sheki is actually seen more play than Construct, even though Construct is at 1, because Sheki is an instant needle fiber. If you're going second, you send Glow Up Bulb plus Garnet, summon Sheki activate Glow Up Bulb, summon Glow Up Bulb, and then just link off into needle fiber, and you pop off from there. So yeah, Sheki is seeing more play than Construct. If that doesn't tell you that Construct is not going to be relevant today, I'm not sure what will. Now for some spells that should come off the banned side of the ban list, I think Kaiser Coliseum does not really deserve a spot there. It was banned during a time where Cosmos started running it because in reality, you only ever needed really 1 Cosmo monster because you would just tag out some of the bigger ship from hand and your ship was untargetable. And if they destroyed that ship somehow without something like Utopia, then all of a sudden you get a big ship that's slightly smaller but still just as powerful. Maybe just 200 attack points less, and still couldn't be targeted. I'm actually not sure if this card was banned before or after Dark Destroyer was released, but the point is, it was pretty much banned because Cosmos were a thing. Cosmos are no longer a thing, and no deck right now really revolves around only 1 monster that I can think of. You can argue Masterpiece. Actually, you know what? Maybe Masterpiece.deck would abuse this card, but I still don't see it. I would bring it back to 1 just to see how it goes, and then if no one's using it still, bump it to 2 and then 3 later on. Now to start off with cards that are currently limited, Clifford Scout or Clifford Scout, however you want to say it, shouldn't be on the ban list right now. The deck is irrelevant and it will probably always be irrelevant unless they get some insane support, because the way they abuse the ability to summon from the extra deck as a pendulum archetype is no longer viable for them. And Clifford Genius doesn't really resolve that issue. Give them 3 Scout back, they'll be more consistent. It won't help with how bad they are, unfortunately, but you know, they'll be more consistent. To continue with Cleese, Towers should just be at 3 now. It's not seeing play at 1, and even if it was at 3, most decks in the past that were Cleese Tower Turbo only ran 1 anyway, so this is literally just a waste of a space on the ban list. Neospatian Grand Mole should also not be on its ban list. Eater of Millions is Neospatian Grand Mole, but even better because it banishes the cards face down instead of returning them to hand. So just get Neospatian off this ban list. It's not going to see any play because Eater of Millions doesn't take your normal summon, and it banishes the card face down instead of bouncing it back to hand. So it's better in every single way when compared to Neospatian Grand Mole. So just stop hitting on this card. This little mole has been on the list for I don't know how long. Just get it off of there. So this one is a little bit more controversial, but Performage, Damage Juggler shouldn't be on his ban list anymore. It shouldn't be limited. It should just be at 3. One of the main issues with Damage Juggler was that you could search Plush Fire off of it, but right now Plush Fire is banned, so there's no real reason to keep Damage Juggler limited. It is seeing play in like 60 card variants to search Hat Tricker, but at this point, are we really worried about Hat Tricker? And it's only once per turn anyway, so you can't just send 3 copies of this to the graveyard and then search 2 Hat Tricker and a Trick Clown or something, and bam, bam, summon 2 Hat Tricker, XYZ. Like, it's not going to happen. Just put it at 3, and then people can decide ratios for like a small little Performage engine in whatever they want to play. Now, this one is kind of like preaching to the choir, but Canahawk, I mean, do I need to explain this one? The deck wasn't even broken. I guess it was because of tournament time is the main thing I've been hearing about this card being limited. But like, come on, man, it's Ritual Beast. Just give him back the card. It's Ritual Beast. Book of Moon. That card should come back to 3, hands down. I don't see an issue with that. No one's running it at 1, no one's going to run it at 2, and no one's going to run it at 3 because the card is just not as good as it once was. Now, if they make an archetype that revolves around setting your opponent's monsters face down, then yeah, this card can be broken, I guess. But they can really do that with any card. Any card in this ban list can be broken because of future support. Just get it off the ban list, bro. It's not relevant. Now at 1, it's not relevant. At 2, it's not going to be relevant. At 3, just get it off the ban list. It will be helpful, I guess, maybe as a side deck card. But like I said, people don't even run this card at 1 because there are better options. And nowadays, every deck is a combo deck, so you need combo pieces. And you can justify running hand traps because you can use it at least during your opponent's turn if you lose the die roll. Book of Moon just takes up a slot and doesn't really help break boards like it once did. Maybe in a really slow format, which is not this one, Book of Moon would be more relevant because you can just book whatever extra deck monster that isn't a link monster that they summon to the extra deck zone to essentially shut off their extra deck plays. But right now, it's not going to be that good. Take it off the ban list. I mean, it hasn't been good for a while now. Just take it off the ban list. Come on now. Now, this one is very controversial because I know for a fact people hate these cards. But Solemn Judgment and Solemn Warning, they go hand in hand. I don't think these cards should be on the ban list or on the limited list. The issue with the current game is that if your card can't be played immediately, there's no reason to run it. Because you can't guarantee yourself going first, and there's so many broken boards so many different decks can make that traps are too slow to run unless there's something like Evenly Matched, which let you activate them from hand, or Infinite Transients or whatever, the card in the OCG, which hopefully will be getting soon in the TCG, that is essentially an effect veiler. So Solemn Judgment and Solemn Warning, although it would be kind of iffy, I would go 1 card at a time, so maybe like bump up Warning to 2 first before bumping up Judgment at all, and then bump up Warning to 3 and see where that goes, and then slowly go up from there. But I can't see a point of these cards being on the ban list because they're too slow. They're not as good as they once were. Now, if this was a really slow format, sure, you can possibly see an issue with Judgment and Warning at 3, but until we get to that really slow format, which we haven't had since Duelist Alliance, then these 2 cards aren't going to be that relevant. Now, I can be completely wrong about this, and if I'm completely wrong, just let me know. Now for the semi-limited cards, Mathematician shouldn't be on there. It was banned because Shaddolls used that card, but now Shaddolls are irrelevant. And Construct is banned. Like, why is this card limited, or semi-limited, actually? Necroface, I mean, some rogue decks use it, but an extra Necroface, would it break any decks, really? I don't think so. Just bump it up to 3 and let it be free. Let that little baby-faced, disgusting creature be free. Now, this isn't a Banlist prediction video. I'll be making a video on that with Aaron, which hopefully you guys will be meeting very soon. But these are just cards that I saw on here, which, with everybody talking about a ban list, these are cards that I think should not be on the ban list any longer. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys think I was completely wrong and these cards need to stay on the ban list, then just let me know in the comments. But if you guys agree with me, or you think there are other cards on here that should come off the ban list, then also let me know that too. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe, comment, and like, and also turn on the bell icon to be notified of future Yu-Gi-Oh videos. And I'll be seeing you guys soon.